Let's begin our Bible history lesson this morning by singing together again, All That I Am I Owe to Thee, verses 1 and 2. All that I am I owe to Thee, Thy wisdom, Lord, has fashioned me. I give my Maker thankful praise, whose wondrous works my soul amaze. Ere into being I was brought, Thine I did see, and in Thy thought my life in all its perfect plan was ordered ere my days began. And now we will practice our verse. Psalm 23. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Let's try that once more. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Good. You have about 3 more days to learn that. And before we get to our Bible history lesson today, we're going to say Psalm 23, the whole thing. Where do we find this in the Bible? Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And now it is time for our Bible history lesson. No rain came in the land of the Israelites for more than 3 years. All the food in the fields dried up. There was no grass for the animals. Many people and many of the animals died. Finally, one day, God came to Elijah. Go, God said, show yourself to King Ahab. Soon I will send rain on the earth. So Elijah went to find King Ahab. King Ahab and his good servant Obadiah were out looking for grass for their animals. They each went a different way. As Elijah came into Samaria, he met Obadiah. Obadiah was surprised to see him. Elijah said to Obadiah, "Go tell King Ahab that I am here." But Obadiah was afraid. "Not so, my lord," he said. "Please don't ask me to do that. Didn't people tell you how I saved 100 prophets from wicked Queen Jezebel by hiding them in a cave? Then why do you send me to King Ahab?" King Ahab has been looking for you. There is not a country in all this land where he has not sent soldiers to look for you. Now, if I tell him I have seen you, God may hide you away again, like he did at the brook Cherith. Then if the king comes and he doesn't find you, he will surely kill me." But Elijah said, "As the Lord liveth, Obadiah, before whom I stand, I shall surely show myself to King Ahab." So Obadiah went to get King Ahab. When King Ahab saw Elijah, he said, "Is that you, you troubler of Israel?" Elijah answered, "It is not I who have troubled Israel. It is you, O king. God has kept back the rain because you and your people are praying to Baal instead of to him. Now gather all your people and all your prophets of Baal. Meet me on the top of Mount Carmel tomorrow morning." The next morning, Elijah stood before the Israelites on Mount Carmel. He said, "How long will you people have more than one God? If Jehovah be God, follow him. But if Baal be God, then follow him. I am the only prophet left of Jehovah, but there are 450 prophets of Baal." Then Elijah gave the people a test. He said they should make 2 altars, one for Baal and one for Jehovah. They were to put an offering on each altar. The God who would send fire from heaven would be the true God. The people thought that this was a fair test. The wicked prophets of Baal tried first. They built their altar and put an offering on it. They prayed all morning and all afternoon to Baal. They even jumped on their altar and cut themselves with knives until the blood ran down their bodies. They shouted, "Baal, hear us!" But there was no answer. No fire came. When it was noon, Elijah mocked them. Now, children, you have to use your imagination, and you imagine these 450 prophets of Baal all around this altar, and they're bloody. They've been cutting themselves, and they're tired. And Elijah says to them, "Cry louder. Perhaps your God is on a trip. Perhaps he is talking with someone and can't hear you. Or maybe he is asleep." So the prophets of Baal that you imagined all around here, they cried louder. They became even more wild. But still, there was no answer. When evening came, Elijah said, "Now it is my turn." Then he built the altar to God. The altar had been broken down because King Ahab had not been taking care of it, and the people had not been worshiping God there with sacrifices. He dug a trench around the altar and he filled it with water. He poured water on the offering and on the wood too. Elijah wanted to show the people that God could burn the offering even though it was covered with water. Oh, I forgot to put my offering on there. There's the wood. There's the animal, and the water was poured on there He poured a lot of water on there. It was running down and gathering in the water that was already at the bottom. When all was ready, Elijah prayed. "Hear me, O Jehovah, hear me," he cried. "Show this people that you are the true God." Elijah prayed for only a few minutes. As soon as he finished his prayer, the fire of the Lord fell. It burned the offering and the wood. It even burned the stones and the dust, and it licked up the water down below in the trenches. When all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and they cried, "Jehovah, He is God! Jehovah, He is God!" Then Elijah killed all the prophets of Baal. He had the men take them down the mountain to the brook Kishon. They killed them there. Then Elijah sent King Ahab home. And that is the end of our Bible history lesson today.